All right, how's it going, guys? Here's just a quick review of our next-gen consoles, the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Starting off with the PS5, we got the shape is kind of odd, but it's grown on me over time. At first, I definitely wasn't a fan of it. Now, the thing I may not be able to really show is how big this thing is. I guess here's a normal size game case for Overwatch, and this thing is massive. This console is huge. I mean, I've got a 55-inch TV right here, and it's half the height of that. So very large console, but the design's grown on me, and it is kind of cool how if you go straight from the side, it looks basically like a straight rectangle. So that's kind of cool. One of the big selling points is the new controller. So this here, very solid controller, feels good. All the buttons feel nice and responsive. Try to film and do this at the same time. Sticks feel good. Now, it's got a little bit of a grip on the back, but once I get to the Xbox Series X, I'll talk about that. This grip isn't quite as grippy as that one. Key selling points are the adaptive triggers in the rumble. So Astro's Playroom demo is a good way to showcase this, and you'll feel differences when you're walking through grass, walking through water, on wood, hard floors, things like that. So that's pretty cool to see. Now, I haven't tested it out a whole lot, but pretty interesting feature there. So moving on to the OS, the system menus are pretty cool. Nice refresh from last gen, and things look very nice. They obviously put a lot of thought into the design of the OS. It's very snappy, very quick. I mean, I can go here to my excessive game library and scroll through things very quickly. So that's a nice change of pace. As the PS4 menu was at the end of its life cycle, was getting pretty clunky. Now, a couple interesting menu choices have been noted. So mine is the store, but I know people have complained it's hard to find like your capture gallery when you take screenshots. Trophy menu is kind of hard to navigate. For me, when I come to the store, I know that PlayStation right now has a Black Friday sale, and there doesn't seem to be a spot for like new sale categories. I just have to go game by game or what's new or whatever. Or if I go on Sony's site, I see that they've got a big Black Friday sale with special deals, and I want to see what we got there. So some of the menus things have been difficult to navigate, but overall it's pretty refreshing to see just a whole new OS and seeing saving and loading and all that kind of stuff just looks differently. So it's refreshing, and I'm sure they'll refine it over time. Now, when it comes to your game lineup, Sony's definitely made more of a hard cutoff generation to generation than Microsoft. So launch lineup main highlights are Spider-Man, not the remastered, but Miles Morales. You've got Astro's Playroom as the demo that comes with the console to really show you what the controller can do. Demon Souls Remake, which this is my highlight. This game looks absolutely beautiful versus the PS3 version from many years ago. So all great games, solid lineup. Now you've got PS4 back compat, so like God of War, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima were all updated with enhanced performance on PS5. So that's a good reason to jump back into those titles. And you got solid third-party software, things like Call of Duty, new Black Ops, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk coming down the road, things like that. So a lot of good games to play here. Now, we got the PS5 hooked up to our TV right now, and I'm going to be playing my Xbox on my monitor. And one thing that's kind of frustrating as somebody getting into PC gaming and monitors and things like that is lack of options here. So there is no 1440p output option. So that's a little annoying. I'll get into it later on what monitor I'm working with. And there's no option for variable refresh rate, which Sony did just say that it's going to be inputting variable refresh rate in a firmware update, but still kind of annoying that that's not here at the launch of the console. Is Xbox had it last generation. We've had it on PC for a while, and It definitely supports TVs that have that feature. Okay, moving on to the Xbox Series X here. So another kind of interesting shape, this little monolithic type thing, but the size of it is a little more manageable versus the PS5 compared here to like my monitor setup. Bit shorter, still a large console, hefty console. After using both for a bit, they're both very, very quiet. You do not notice them, from my experience at least, so that's nice. Moving on to the controller, I wasn't anticipating much with the new Series X controller. It looks essentially the same as an Xbox One controller, but there actually are some very nice upgrades here that I'm very impressed with. So the front is a very nice matte finish. It feels very dense but light. The controller does feel like lighter in the right areas, and I feel like this won't catch as many oil from your skin as the Xbox One controllers did. It's almost more like a PBT plastic like you see on keycaps. Buttons and sticks feel about the same. Now, massive update to the D-pad. This D-pad is awesome, super clicky and responsive. Major improvement from the Xbox One. Honestly, I think they may have gone from worst to best on D-pads right here. Another big update is the bumper. So again, very, very clicky and responsive. It feels great to press. That was another thing that on the PS4, I didn't notice any difference between bumper, trigger, etc. It just wasn't noticeable, which is a good thing. And then I felt kind of off on the Xbox One bumpers, and these here feel great. More subtle upgrade is, you're probably not gonna be able to see it, but you got grip on the back of the controller right along here, and then there's grip on the triggers. Now, some updated Xbox One controllers started adding grip right here, and I am a total fan of that, and I'm definitely going to prefer that. When you're playing a hectic shooter, grip helps keep your finger right locked and loaded where you need to be, and then it just feels great. Normal hand use right there. So moving on to the OS, it's the exact same as the current update of Xbox One dashboard. Now I know it's changed over the years, but no big change to the new generation, which is kind of underwhelming, but the big difference is super fast and responsive. Both consoles, honestly, it's a small feature on the the feature list, but to me, just being able to navigate super fast, click of a button and everything is right, responds right there, as opposed to you go down and you wait for everything to come up here on the side, or you go to the store and it just takes forever to come up and you're looking at your phone. This is much more fast and responsive. And I'm already looking through here, figuring out what else I want to waste my money on, just like that in seconds. So that's honestly the biggest upgrade to me, and just the usability of the whole system. Now, in terms of game lineup, not really much in terms of an exclusive standpoint right now. Definitely a big deficit from Series X to PS5. You have Tetris Effect connected here, which is exclusive for 6 months. But the key difference is you got Game Pass. So if I can go to my games and apps, as a Game Pass subscriber, I can go right here and download anything right here that's currently in the library. And if you notice, we've got obviously our Xbox One Series X titles. We've got a few 360 titles here. And if I can even find any, we're going to have Fusion Frenzy, original Xbox OG title from back in 2001. So the back compatibility aspect that they've been building with Xbox One continues here. So that's a pretty impressive library when you consider that. Not as many of the brand new exclusives like your Demon Souls, but the library continues to build with Game Pass. So Xbox One titles that support uncapped frame rates or uncapped resolution will see a benefit, just like on PS5. So I mentioned the PS5 exclusives that got updated. Something like Forza Horizon 4 did get a 60 frames per second update, but some games that I was looking forward to, like Final Fantasy 15, supports uncapped frame rate, and it's going to run lock 60 on the performance mode here on both Xbox and PS5. Nier Automata, this had an unlocked frame rate which was in the 45s, 50s on last gen, and this will push to 60. So games like that are going to see the same benefit on both consoles, which is nice. Depending depending on where you own them at. And it's nice to see that automatic upgrade. So the last thing I want to talk about here with the Series X is the different tech options, which I think Microsoft does a better job than Sony on those kinds of things. So Sony has a better looking OS, but you have less customization options. So I'm playing Series X on this LG 27GL850 monitor, and I can select 1440p as my resolution. Now, I'm lucky that this monitor does sample down from 4K, so I can put it at 4K and it'll have a super sampled output. Not every 1440p monitor does that. Depending on your monitor, if it doesn't have HDMI 2.0, you may be stuck going down to 1080p on the new consoles. Or if you have a PS5. PS5 has no 1440p, so luckily I have a new enough monitor that gives me this option, but you may be locked out of stuff on PS5, and the Series X lets you select that 1440p. And you can also select frame rate. So for some reason, this monitor actually isn't allowing 1440p 120 hertz, but it does let me select that for 1080p 120 hertz. So I can take advantage of that on things like Call of Duty and Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. And then just to show some of the additional options, 50 hertz, 24 hertz for entertainment media that is displaying at that. You can turn off the 4K support, HDR. I turned this off because one game was looking kind of washed out with HDR, so I turned that off for that one game. But here's the big thing: is variable refresh rate. It's coming to PS5, but Microsoft was ahead of the game, had it last gen, so we're ready to go this gen with variable refresh rate. Now, what that means is any game that targets 60 but doesn't quite make it to 60 and is hovering in the 50s of frames per second is still going to look smooth with your variable refresh rate on. PS5 doesn't have that, so if you've got a game that targets 60 and is hovering 40s, 50s, whatever, it's still going to be juddery and have that stutter. So this is a key feature that is a reason that I moved to PC gaming primarily for a while, and I'm glad Xbox has it. And I can't wait till PS5 gets it added as well. So that's kind of the long and short of it on both these consoles. Really, end of the day, both amazing boxes, both worth the purchase. Tech-wise, they're pushing things very far. You're in terms of performance per dollar. These are both great consoles to buy versus the similar components on a PC. So that's very cool to see, and at very low power usage. Both impressive pieces of tech. So I'm most likely going to use the Xbox as my primary just because of the other monitor options that allow me to use it here just along with my PC setup. But for everyone that's just plugging into your TV, you're going to have the same experience on both consoles. PS5 has a little bit better launch lineup, but Xbox has Game Pass and better backwards compatibility. So just depends on where your library's at or what you prefer. But if you're mainly getting third-party games, you're going to experience the same great games on both, and both upgrade to the next gen, and really both great buys. I can't complain about either. So that's about it. Thank you for watching.